Welcome back to the channel, and if you're watching this right now, you probably feel like me, just another number. So today on the show, we're going to be talking about student loans. I got some clips that I'm going to play for the show because there's a lot of buzz going around TikTok and various other spots, but I pulled most of these clips from TikTok, and people are giving their perspective, their points of view, and quite frankly, their feelings on the matter about why is the government trying to come after student loans when the cost of living is already high? It's already high enough to the point that people are barely being able to pay their bills. And now these late payments are attacking people's credit scores. People's credit scores are falling now. So I'm going to get straight into it. No games, no chaser. Let's get it.
Trump administration announced the Education Department will start collection next month on student loans that are in default. That's roughly, we're talking about 5.3 million borrowers that are in default. What do people need to know?
Okay, if you work for the federal government, then your wages could be garnished if you're in default. If you get a tax refund, that tax refund may be actually garnished by the federal government. And if you are getting a notice that says you are in default, there will be 30 days and the government could actually garnish your wages. To be clear, this is something that people who owe money need to pay attention to. Also, all of the people in default, we are now seeing reporting to credit agencies. We haven't seen that before. Wow. So we now know that credit scores are dropping for these borrowers by somewhere around 130 points.
It's ridiculous. I make a lot of TikTok videos where I'm talking about the system, right? And then if anybody from TikTok is watching this, you already know what I'm talking about. They are deliberately attacking us. They already know that the price of goods was already going up because of so-called inflation. I don't even hear them talk about inflation anymore. At this point, they've replaced the word inflation with tariffs, because inflation was basically just code for a price gouging. That's what the corporations were doing. But now with these tariffs, now they're talking about shelves are about to be empty. Right. I'm just tying it all together. So if shelves are about to be empty, people are already about to have less money just in general because prices are already too high. And the corporations bought up all of the housing, whatever was in the housing inventory back in 2000, after the 2008 crash. People lost their homes. A lot of people got homes foreclosed upon. And, these mega money groups, these corporations, they moved in and they bought all these properties, and all they did was jack up the damn rents. So that's why so many people's rents are going through the roofs at this point. With all of that playing out, with all of that going on, now you want to tack on the student loan thing. So what happens when you start garnishing people's wages, right? People start garnishing people's wages, and then what? What's the next play here? It's already difficult for people to survive. It's almost like, do you guys want chaos? I think I got it. I think I figured it out. I think the goal is to make it so hard and so rough and so difficult for us, for everybody, black, white, doesn't make no difference. I think the goal is to make it so bad that people are going to start to rise up, and people are probably going to, I don't know, I don't want to use the R word. I don't want to use the, the IIT word. So people go out in the streets and people start protesting, and then he declares martial law. Is that it? Am I in the ballpark? Anyway, let's go on to this next one.
The new Republican budget that was just released yesterday would destroy and remove public student loan forgiveness, which was created by Republicans 15 years ago, which just shows how anti-education the Republican Party has grown in less than 20 years. Public student loan forgiveness was signed into law in 2007, and I graduated from high school in 2007. I joined the Marine Corps and I was a registered Republican. And George W. Bush also signed into the law the post 9/11 GI Bill, which gave educational benefits to post 9/11 veterans who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, because Republicans of the 2000s knew to incentivize education for our country, that the best way forward for our country was to create an educated workforce. Millions of student loan borrowers took out student loans under the understanding that if they worked for a nonprofit organization or if they worked towards public student service for a certain period of time, that those loans that they took out would be forgiven. That was the understanding, the contract that they signed when they took out student loans. My wife got her degree from Yale and Duke, taking out student loans under the understanding that she would receive public student loan forgiveness. She's been working for a nonprofit organization for over 10 years, and her, like millions of others, were paying towards their student loans with the understanding that if they paid for a certain period of time, working for a nonprofit for a certain period of time, those loans would be forgiven. This was the contract that Republicans created in 2007, and now they are showing their hypocrisy by taking away public student loan forgiveness, which is what they created 20 years ago. Whether it's vocational training or educational training at a university, this country should incentivize sending Americans to get the training they need, to get the jobs they need, to live the lives they need. As an American, you shouldn't have to work in order to live. But if you want to work, this country should incentivizing finding you the job that will allow you to become the best part of your community you can.
So he said a lot there, and I agree wholeheartedly with him that you shouldn't have to work to live. But from the standpoint of, look, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I've said this before, and I don't mean to be controversial when I say this, but America doesn't care about its citizens. They just don't. Look at the entire system of how everything is rigged against us. You take public service loan forgiveness, something the Republicans create, and now all of a sudden you go against your own plan. You go against your own bill or basically program that you put together. I don't understand. The hypocrisy is astronomical at this point. You know, every time you vote Republicans into office, this is what happens. They go after things that help average Americans. How many times they could not be more clear about this? That R should just be for the rich. Okay? I don't think the R stands for Republican anymore. I think it just stands for rich and wealthy. That's what I think it stands for. And the fact that these guys, oh my goodness, every time you get them in office, this type of stuff happens, and yet people still always fall for the propaganda to vote for these people. They bait you with cultural issues. This is what they do. They bait you with cultural issues, and you vote on cultural issues, but yet you're voting on cultural issues for a government job. Last time I checked, I didn't think the government had anything to do with the culture. That had to do with the people. Okay, that's neither here nor there. So you elect Republicans, you got a Republican president, Republican House and Senate, and quite frankly, the Republicans rule the courts. So you got the trifecta. And they're screwing over average Americans. The reason this country won't be great, in my personal opinion, as a black man, a black American, is because of racism. This country won't be great. You know how far behind we are compared to other countries? We can't progress. This country has not progressed because they don't want certain groups of people to have access to certain things. It's just a fact. These student loans, man, it's ridiculous. People are trying to put food on the table. People are trying to fuel up their vehicles to get to a job they don't really care for. And what are we paying for? Our dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. Everything's going up. You're being charged left and right. You're being taxed left and right. And then on top of that, they won't let you discharge student loans for bankruptcy. They won't let you discharge it, right? But remember people were getting PPP loans? Do you remember that? Do you remember people were, Congress people, for example, were getting those PPP loans forgiven? Let's see. Who else? Congressman Mike Kelly. Yeah, what it says here. Congressman Mike Kelly. Reports indicate that Mike Kelly's auto dealerships received PPP loans during the COVID-19 pandemic. The amount of these forgiven loans is reported to be in the range of approximately $970,000 to $987,000, $987,237. That's it in a nutshell. Seriously? You can forgive a congressman's PPP loans that are damn near $1 million, but you can't forgive people's student loans anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000? I'll be completely transparent. I have student loans. My student loans are only about $12,000. Well, shit, by the time interest and everything starts kicking in, it'll probably be at $13,000 in no time. You mean to tell me you can't look out for the average citizens, but you can look out for these people in Congress who are probably already millionaires? This country doesn't care about the average citizen. I keep saying that. It doesn't make me un-American. It's just, I'm just pointing out what I see. I'm not un-American for calling out the hypocrisy. Supposed to be the land of the free, supposed to have freedom of speech. We're supposed to be able to call a thing in this country. And for the people that want to attack people for saying, oh, you shouldn't have took the loan. Oh, I'm sorry. It's my fault for trying to better myself, trying to educate myself, trying to provide for my family. Oh, that's my fault. Right? Ooh, I'm just going to get into the next clip.
Hey, what's up, America? Donald Trump's student loans again. Well, I'm gonna say this for stupid people very fucking slow and very fucking clearly. Because even though I'm a Trump supporter, apparently some of you Trump supporters don't seem to understand the words coming out of my fucking mouth. When I signed a student loan, it was not a variable interest rate. Do you get that? I signed a fixed loan of 3%, give or take. The servicer of the student loan changed the terms of the contract and increased the student loan interest rate, even though I signed a fixed rate. Do you fucking get it yet? You fucking idiots! So even though I signed a fixed rate, it didn't matter. They changed the terms of the fucking student loan without telling me. So fixed did not mean fixed for them. The student loan servicer told me, and I quote, fixed rates do not mean that they're fixed permanently. That's what Nelnet told me, you bootlicking fucking toadies. So I did my part and paid the student loans. They changed the terms of the student loans not once, not twice, not 3, 4, 5, a total of 9 different times over the period of 5 years. Fixed interest rates that they changed, and when I called them on the phone, they told me fixed doesn't mean fixed. They actually told me that fixed meant variable. That's what they told me. You fucking deranged people. So I know you keep thinking that your tax dollars are paying for the student loans, maybe back in the day, but they literally had me sign a fixed interest rate loan, and then they changed the terms without telling me, though it was fixed, you morons. So I don't want to hear, oh, I signed a variable loan. No, I fucking didn't. Would you like me to show you the contract, you assholes?
Now, one thing I love that man's passion right there. I love that. That's the kind of passion that we all need to have in regards to the crap that they're trying to pull in society as a whole. Not just with the student loan situation, but everything that they're doing across the board, breaking all types of laws, doing all types of things that are not in the norm. This is the kind of energy we need to have all the time, 24/7. But what he said there, he signed a fixed contract. And what they told him was, it's fixed for now. It doesn't mean it's fixed permanently. Why is that even legal? Why is it that you should be able to sign a contract that they can just change something up on you midway through? That's how you know the game is rigged. That's how you know everything is against you. This is exactly why I titled the show I did, Just Another Number, because I feel that way. I feel like that man, even though he's a Trump supporter, which, God, I don't understand. Boggles the mind. But here, in this particular situation, I have common ground with a Trump supporter. Now, granted, he voted for this. It's affecting both of us. He voted for it, I didn't. But it's affecting him as it's affecting me. If we could somehow get past the fact, if we could get past the division between politics and race and religion and sexuality and all that stuff that they use to constantly keep us divided, and actually go after the people that are causing us harm. Let's focus on that. There are people in the government that are causing us harm, right? From laws and bills that they pass to, how can I say, directing organizations to go after people. Now, read between the lines. He signed a contract. They changed the terms. They don't want you to be able to pay the stuff down. I said this on TikTok the other day. The new thing is basically wage slavery, or it's basically, it's not the regular chattel slavery that they had here in America. It's a new form of slavery. It just evolved. Just like racism, it just evolves. This stuff doesn't really truly die. The fact that they can change the terms of a contract and it be legal, that tells you right there who your lawmakers, who your people that you vote for in these elections. That tells you who they work for. They don't work for me and you. Unless you're the head of an organization with millions of people, you're not going to be able to get a sit down. You're not going to be able to get a meet and greet with these people, with these congressmen, these people who are supposed to work for us. But they're working to screw us over at every single turn. Like I said, I appreciate this man's energy. I feel his passion. This is what we should all have. But I can't give him too much credit because you voted for this shit. Let's go to the next.
I'm going to keep posting about this all day because this is bullshit. I went and logged into my federal loan account and this is what I found. I graduated in 2011 with $46,000 in student loan debt. My loan debt is now almost $90,000 fucking dollars. In that time, I've been a social worker that has made income-based repayments on my loan for years, and that shit has almost doubled. You wanna know why people are pissed off about their student loans? It's not because we can't get anyone else to pay them for us. It is because you have set it up where we can never pay them off ourselves. And then you sit here and tell us into our faces that we are lazy, this is somehow our fault, while cheering on banks and auto industries and Elon fucking Musk getting subsidies of millions of dollars a day. Anyone who still doesn't see that this is rigged against us can get fucked.
Man, another one. I love her passion. I love her energy. She, perfect. Pointed everything out perfectly. These corporations get bailouts. All the corporations and banks in 2008 that caused the crash got bailed out. Bear Stearns, AIG, GM, Chrysler, Wells Fargo, Citigroup. All these places got bailed out to the tune of billions of dollars. But we can't forgive student loans. We can't forgive something that average Americans need. And you ask, well, who's going to pay for it? Did you ask that question when you bailed out the corporations? Are you asking that question when they pass all of these damn tax breaks for these rich people who don't need it, for these corporations that don't need it? Do you realize that we are already subsidizing industries that are already profitable? The corruption has no bounds. The corruption is that deep. People on the right want to talk about the deep state. Well, look in your own backyard. Look at who supports the Republican Party financially. No one ever talks about that. Who supports the Republican Party financially? There's a whole list of billionaires. Because they know what they're getting for their money. Tax breaks. All types of incentives to send jobs elsewhere. Yeah. And then they use the cultural issues. See, this is how they combine it. They use the cultural issues and blame it on immigrants. Oh, immigrants are taking your jobs. This feeds into the cultural narrative that these idiots believe in. Well, ask yourself a simple question. How can the immigrants be taking your jobs? How are they taking your jobs? You ever thought about that? How? How could they take your jobs if it's somebody, if you're white, it's somebody who looks like you that runs the company that's hiring these people? Most of us people of color don't have hardly any power in this country. The country has always been ran by white men. Let's call it. You had Obama for 8 years, but do you really think Obama was running this? I'm not getting conspiratorial. He was in the executive branch. There has never been a majority of black people in Congress passing bills. There has never been a majority of black people on the Supreme Court. We have never had a lot of power in this country outside of us standing together and protesting together. And it wasn't just black people. A lot of people were involved in those marches. But here we do. Here we always go. They throw these wedge issues in, these cultural issues, to divert from what it is that they're actually doing, which means they're screwing us over. But they got us fighting cultural battles amongst each other. We can do that in our own spare time. But in the meantime, we need to focus on who's screwing us over at the top in the government. We need to focus on, okay, who are we subsidizing? Where's the money? It's the old adage. Follow the money. Follow the money. You follow the money, you get all the answers you need. Let's go to the next one.
So I called the student loans people yesterday, and I was like, ma'am, because I put me on deferment right now. I don't want no forbearance. No, because forbearance, if you didn't know, your interest continues to grow even though it's paused. No, deferment. Thank you. And the lady said, as of right now, your monthly payments are $1,554. I said, excuse me? No habla inglés. Huh? So then I said, this is a recorded line, right? She said, yes, ma'am, it is. I said, give me a second. I said, anybody who's on the other end, listen to me. I don't have it. That is rent. $1,554. I said, damn, they greedy, huh? They couldn't just make that 54 cents? Like, dollars? I said, that is rent. I don't have it. I don't have it. I will not have it. The lady said, yeah, this takes a couple of weeks. We already seen your application. It'll be applied. Okay. Thank you. 36 months? Thank you. I'll apply again in 3 years. Thank you.
That's insane. This is how out of touch you got to realize it now. How out of touch are these people? Over $1,000 a month in student loans? Are you I gotta watch myself. Are you serious? Who do you think has the money to pay that? Over $1,000 a month? She's right. She's absolutely right. That's rent. That's rent. And it didn't used to be. But it's rent now because of what I said earlier. Corporations going in, snatching up a whole bunch of houses, housing units, and jacking up the price. Because it's not about the people, it's about trying to make a profit. It's not about the people. We'll scam and screw y'all over 24/7 in the name of the almighty dollar. But what she say? Oh my God. What she said, $1,500? $1,500 a month? Even if it's $1,000 a month. Are you kidding me? That's way too much money. And people can't afford that. Well, this is what I'm saying. It's literally like what I'm thinking about. Are you trying to start the revolution? Because I can see it happening. But what is it gonna do? It's just gonna give them an excuse to like turn the army against the people. And then when that happens, then what? This student loan, it is a crisis. It is something that can be it can be forgiven. It can be forgiven. It should be. Because no one asks these type of questions when rich people get bailed out. No one asks these type of questions when corporations get bailed out. When they get these tax breaks. Who pays for the tax breaks? I guess us. I guess we subsidize the rich constantly. So they're literally making money hand over fist. They're literally screwing us. They don't pay us shit and then charge us out the ass for whatever they selling. Man, it's corrupt. It's corrupt all around. This country is just corrupt, hands down. No other way to look at it. The system's rigged. The game is rigged. That's it. That's it. It's not going to get easier. And for everybody that voted for Trump, you know, I'm glad it's happening to you. You know, I'm not at the point where, you know, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because we do all need to come together. But it's going to be mainly hard. It's going to be really, really hard for me to try to tag team with a Trump supporter. I'm sorry. It's just hard at this point. Unless you can fully acknowledge the error of your ways. That's going to be a tough sell for me. Because I am very happy that you were experiencing the consequences of your actions. But I just wish that it was just happening to you. It's a scam. This whole thing is a scam. I'm going to finish it out with the Congresswoman.
I'm not just a Democrat, and I want to start with that, right? Because I sit here as a member of Congress, a millennial, one of the younger members of Congress, of the generation that came here with the largest burden of student loan debt in history. I would probably, if I had to guess, there probably isn't a member of Congress who was more appropriately able to talk about student loan debt than me here. And yet you're talking, and oftentimes these bills are talking over people like me. The reality is that so much that's in this entire reconciliation bill targets me specifically, not me, the congressperson, me, the first generation black student who came from a working class, single black mother who could not afford otherwise to send her child to school. She had a child who had aspirations, not to be a congressperson at the time, but aspirations to get a higher education, to be able to break cycles of inequality that we had been thrust into in communities just like mine. But for Pell Grants, but for the ability to take on loans, and I will be the first to admit, I would not have liked to have taken on loans. Right? We would love to see college education more affordable, more accessible. We look at a country that is the wealthiest nation on earth, yet makes the lowest amount of investments into public education for its citizenry. Other nations on earth have been able to figure this out, where we have not just free college education, free education from pre-K to college and other first world, as we call them, developed nations. We also have healthcare. What we're seeing here in this bill and in so many others of our practices are a lack of any sort of investment into working class people, which means a lack of investment into the future of Americans. When we think about who shoulders the biggest burden in loan debt, it is black women. Black women shoulder the largest burdens into student loan debt. But if you asked us if we would still like to be doctors or engineers or lawyers or professionals, you would hear us say resoundingly yes. If we would still like the opportunity to learn for the sake of being able to learn, for knowledge's sake, which is an important and a completely reasonable reason to want to go to college, you would hear us say yes still. None of the provisions in this bill have any incentives for colleges to lower the cost of admissions. What we are doing instead is incentivizing colleges to take fewer low-income students. With these provisions in place throughout this bill, I would not be here. I would not be a congressperson. I would not have been a state rep before that. I would not be a black woman from a first generation college student from a low income community in the Mon Valley who went to law school or who went to Penn State and graduated. None of that would have been a reality to me. Nothing in this bill, nothing that you all are suggesting would have created more opportunities for me. So even when we say that only 20% of people would be impacted, I would be of that 20%. How many of your colleagues would be of that 20%? How many of your doctors or your nurses or your teachers would be in that 20%? I would argue that it is more than you would think. We deserve to be in career fields that we have passions and or talents for. But the reality is that we will not have those opportunities if we move forward with this piece of legislation. We will not have these opportunities. Black students, brown students, first generation college students, first generation Americans will not have access to college. We cannot simply say that we will take away the opportunities for students to access loans, not replace it with anything else, not replace it with lower college education, not replace it with lower interest rates, not make the system better and still say that you will somehow figure it out. We know the outcome here. Black students, brown students, poor students will not be left to figure it out. Instead, elite students, students who come from the 1% will continue to be able to access education. They will continue to have access to career fields that we mentioned here. And the gap, the achievement gap, the racial gap will just continue to increase because these are not being addressed here. I yield back.
Man, I love it. Summer Lee. I love it. She broke that down. Man, points that stuck out to me when she say lack of investment. Yeah, they're not investing in American citizens. They're not. Other countries do this. Do you know that in certain European countries, and quite a few of them, I'm sure, college is free. And even if it's not free, it doesn't cost what it costs here. The same thing can be said about prescription drugs. Why does everything cost so much here? And that's because the government allows corporations to just get away with strong arm robbery. That's what it is. They bribe the politicians. The politicians make the laws that are in full support of the people that they're bribing them. That's all this is. Until you can get corporate interest out of politics and the big bad wolf itself, money, all of this stuff will continue to persist. If people can just continue to be bought and paid for, none of this stuff is going to change. We can march, we can take to the streets, we can fight as hard as hell. But if you don't attack the core, if you do not attack the money in politics, if you do not attack the corporate corruption, Citizens United is what started all this. If you do not go after the core, this shit, all it's gonna do is continue to persist. It's only going to get worse. We can't be so distracted by the problem. We have to start looking at the source of the problem. The problem is going to be there. Let's start looking at the source of what's causing this problem. The source of the problem is money. It's always been money. That's America's God. It's money. Everything in this country is a scam, man. Everything. You go to work every day just to be exploited. And you are being exploited. I don't care what they tell you. Anytime you have to trade time for money, you're being exploited. Period. We all in the same boat in regards to that. It's just insane. It's insane, and we get up and do this every day, and we get angry, we get frustrated, and then what do? We go somewhere to cool off. They give us all these forms of entertainment to keep us docile, to keep us from not rising up, so they continue to fuck us over every single chance they get. They give us social media so we can keep each other distracted and arguing with each other online about somebody being racist or somebody being a different gender or a different sexuality. All these stupid, mundane things to keep us at each other's throats without actually going to the source of the problem. The elites. No incentive for these colleges to lower costs so they can just keep jacking up tuition rates. That's their way of keeping black and brown and poor people out of these establishments. That's it in a nutshell. And then they say only 20% of the people will be impacted by this? No, it's gonna be more than 20%. That's on the low end. That's a low ball number. This country, it's not great. Make America great for who? You can say make America great again, but who are we making it great for? That is the question that you Trump supporters should have been asking. Make it great for who? Because it's not going to be great for you. At the end of the day, listen, if we all came together collectively, we might have a chance. Don't allow them to blindside us. Don't allow them to keep us distracted. Don't allow them to keep continuing to divide us, because by them continuing to divide us, these problems are going to persist. They're going to keep happening until we start attacking the source. Because these politicians, every 2, 4, 6 years, they come to us and beg us for their vote, trying to convince us, lying to us. And then once they get in office, they just do the bidding of whoever's paying them, whoever's donating to their campaign. Don't you see the conflict of interest there? If a big major donor is donating to a person's campaign, don't you think they're gonna want something in return? We don't pay for nothing in this country and don't expect a product or a service for that money. We expect something when we pay. Aren't you able to connect the dots? Don't you think the same thing happens? Don't you think it's all transactional when it comes to your congressman or woman? It's the same thing. Hey man, I'm gonna spot you on your campaign, but y'all gonna have to pass these bills. And the person who's going for office, they willingly accept it because they want the power or whatever they perceive power to be. No matter what, black, white, or otherwise, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, doesn't matter. We all have the power as a collective. We all just numbers to them. That's all it is. We just numbers to them. Our lives are meaningless to them. This student loan shit is just another scam. And for the people saying they're not going to pay it back, I understand. I definitely understand. Because what about the people that took out student loans, went to school, and came out and couldn't get a job? That's what happened to me. I graduated in 2007 from heating and cooling school. I came out, and by the time I was coming out of school, that's when the economy was crashing. The economy's crashing. What can I do? I can't find a job. No one's hiring. And not only that, who's going to hire me when I don't have any experience? That was what was told to me. 45 resumes I turned in to different companies. I got one interview, and I aced the interview, and she said she couldn't hire me because why? I had no experience. So what I do? I go to school. I did all of that for what? I trapped myself in debt, trying to pursue a better life, and it didn't work out for me. That's what they didn't tell me. I didn't mind sharing that personal story with you all, but hey, we got to do something about this. We got to unite. We got to stand together. We got to get up and change this. So we are all just numbers. We all just numbers to them. So if you like this episode, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely give me a like. And if you agree or disagree with some of the points that I made, leave a comment down. Let's have a simple discussion. We can talk about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're just numbers. We're just numbers. I'll see y'all next episode.